The Hobart Model 2912B slicer is designed for easy, reliable, manual, or automatic slicing. This videotape is to show you how to follow operating procedures on how to operate and maintain the 2912B for long, trouble-free performance. For further details, refer to the instruction manual furnished with the slicer. For replacement or additional manuals, contact your local Hobart office. Before you operate the slicer, always make sure the top knife cover is in position and secured with the latch knob. To slice a short product, always use the meat grip to keep your hands away from the knife. And always unplug the power cord before moving or cleaning the slicer. To ensure optimum performance with the Hobart 2912B slicer, the slicer must be placed for final operating location on a solid non-moving surface. The Hobart skid plates are provided with the slicer. See the Hobart instructions for installation details. If you're installing a new slicer, look at the data plate to make sure the electrical specifications are compatible with your power supply. Install the carriage tray support arm assembly by lowering it to fit the support arm key into the carriage pivot slot. Tilt the carriage to the left to position it for operation and tighten the knob clockwise. The sharpener should already be mounted on top of the slicer and locked to its bracket. The top knife cover should be in place and secured with the latch knob, and the deflector should be in place below the knife. Fences are used with the front-mounted meat grip. They are clamped on the carriage tray to limit product movement. Back out the thumb screw, lay the fence on the carriage tray, rotate it to vertical position, slide it into place, and tighten the screw. Before the slicer is used for the first time, it must be thoroughly cleaned. This requires some easy disassembly and reassembly and is covered later in this videotape. To begin manual slicing, put the lever in manual position and turn the index knob fully clockwise to close the gauge plate. Pull the carriage tray toward you until it reaches its stop and place the product on it. If you need to use the meat grip, first adjust the fence and slide it so it is close to the product but not pushing against it. Tighten the thumb screw. Rotate the meat grip into position. If you don't need the meat grip, you can slide it to the top of its travel, rotate it under the carriage tray, and store it with the retaining clip. With the product on the tray ready to slice, adjust the slice thickness with the index knob. Note, the numbers on the knob are reference numbers for duplicating settings. They are not measurements. Note, you must open the gauge plate by setting the slice thickness before starting the slicer. Otherwise, it will not keep running when you release the switch knob. Turn the slicer on by pulling the switch knob until it starts. Then release the knob. To slice manually, you can use either of the carriage tray handles. You can turn the slicer off by pushing the switch knob or turning the index knob clockwise to close the gauge plate. To start the slicer in the automatic mode, pull the carriage to the home position. Move the lever to automatic position. Adjust the gauge plate to the desired slice thickness. Set any of 6 carriage speeds by turning the speed knob to a higher speed or a lower speed. Note, you can change speed at any time during the slicing process. Pull the switch knob to start automatic slicing. To pause the slicer, pull the switch knob, allowing the carriage to rest in the home position. To resume slicing, pull the switch knob again. For maximizing yield with 1 inch left of the roast, pause the slicer by pulling the switch knob and move the meat grip to the retaining clip. Lift the remaining piece of roast from the gauge plate and place it on the side as shown. Add the new roast and place the meat grip back onto the roast, adjusting the fence if necessary. You may resume slicing by pulling the switch knob. The slicer can be turned off by pushing the switch knob or closing the gauge plate with the index knob. Remember to always clean as you go throughout the day. First, unplug the power cord. Turn the index knob fully below zero to close the gauge plate. Wipe the slicer surfaces with a cloth soaked in mild detergent and warm water, and rinse with a fresh cloth and clean water. With the gauge plate closed, pull the carriage tray all the way to the front and unscrew the knob on the support arm. Tilt the carriage tray to the right until it is almost horizontal. It can be cleaned in this position. Or it can be removed for sink cleaning by pulling it straight up. The last 3 digits of the serial number are on the support arm key to help make sure it is returned to the correct slicer. Take off the deflector by rotating it downward. Remove the top knife cover by rotating the latch knob counterclockwise and lifting the core from the guide pins. Clean both the top knife cover and deflector in a sink. Wash them with warm soapy water and rinse with clean water, then sanitize and air dry. To remove the sharpener, push the lock lever to the left. Tilt the sharpener up to clear the guide pin. Then lift the sharpener up, clearing the left pin. Wipe out any residue in the sharpener housing and clean and rinse the sharpener in a sink. Wipe outward from the center of the knife to remove any large particles of product for ease of cleaning. Wash and rinse both sides of the knife by wiping outward from the center. Use a mild detergent or sanitizer solution only. Never clean any slicer parts with steel pads or concentrated detergent. To remount the sharpener, slide the left slot over the left guide on the bracket while tilting the sharpener slightly. Then press down on the sharpener to fit the locking hole over the right guide pin on the bracket. Slide the lock lever to the right to lock the sharpener in position, making sure it is securely on the guide pins. Replace the top knife cover by positioning it over the guide pins. Lower it while turning the latch knob to the left to lock it. Then release the latch knob and turn it to the right until it is snug. Remember, sanitize the slicer prior to use. Replace the deflector below the knife blade by guiding the socket onto the mount and rotating the deflector upward. To replace the carriage tray, lower it till the support arm key is in the carriage pivot slot. Tilt the carriage tray into normal position and turn the knob clockwise until it is snug. To clean under the slicer, raise the lift lever past center to its stop. Return the slicer to its normal position by slowly retracting the lever. Do not wash any slicer components in a dishwasher or immerse the slicer base or motor in water. The Hobart cast stainless steel knife is designed for long service. To prevent unnecessary wear, it should be sharpened only when necessary. Under normal operating conditions, the slicer will need to be sharpened once every 3 days to once a week, depending on how heavy your volume is. Before sharpening, unplug the power cord and turn the index knob below zero to close the gauge plate. Remove the top knife cover by turning the latch knob counterclockwise and lifting it off the slicer. Thoroughly wash the area around the knife surfaces, and the edge. Plug in the power cord and pull the carriage to the home position. Start the slicer by pulling out the switch knob with your right hand and holding it. With your left hand, pull the sharpener handle fully forward and hold it for 5 seconds. Then slowly release it. And release the switch knob to turn the slicer off. Unplug the power cord, wipe the slicer with a damp cloth to remove the grinding particles, and put the top knife cover back on. To lubricate the slicer, each time you sharpen, squirt 2 or 3 drops of Hobart FMO 200 AW oil into the wick hole of the carriage transport. Then move the carriage back and forth a few times to spread the oil. This is the only required area of the 2912B slicer that is to be lubricated. All other areas of the slicer are maintenance-free and should not be lubricated. With proper operation, cleaning, and maintenance, your Hobart Slicer will provide many years of reliable performance. For future information on the Hobart Model 2912B Slicer and its additional features, check the instruction manual or call your local Hobart office. For service support, call your local Hobart office.